If you write horror or any other dark stories, you don't want to miss these 3 warnings that I have for you today. By the way, my name is Brandon McNulty. I'm the author of Bad Parts, also the author of Entry Wounds, and welcome to my writing channel. I've consumed a lot of horror stories in my lifetime, and over that period, I've seen a lot of problems that keep cropping up again and again and again. And today I wanted to share with you 3 problems that I feel you should avoid if you're writing horror stories. What I'm going to do, I'm going to identify all 3 of these mistakes, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how to fix them. First mistake that horror writers make, they create these empty meatbag characters. What I mean by a meatbag character, this is a character that we don't care about, we also don't hate, we don't have any strong emotional connection to this character either way. And we get the sense that this character is just there in the story, and keep in mind, this is a major or a supporting character. This is an important character, and they're just there in the story for the sake of being killed. And if you are writing a horror story and you have one of your major characters as this lukewarm, boring, neutral character who's just there to eventually get killed later on in the story, you need to do better. You need to find a way to at least give that character some depth. And I'm not saying that every character in your story has to be as deep as Tony Soprano, but at least give your characters a goal and some motivation. When we talk about goals, we're talking about what a character wants. When we talk about motivation, we're talking about the why behind that goal. Why do they want to achieve that goal? If you give your characters some depth and also focus on giving your characters some specific fears that they need to overcome. How do characters respond to those fears? Do they have a chance of overcoming them or succumbing to them over the course of the story? Figure those things out and write better characters than these meatbags who exist purely for the sake of getting killed later on. Second mistake horror writers make, they have an over-reliance on death and gore. And let me be clear here, I love death and gore in my horror stories. And in fact, I can't imagine a horror story that doesn't have people getting killed or at least a little bloodshed. But if all you have to offer in your story is just decapitations and geysers of blood, you need to dig a little deeper. You need to find some texture for your story. And sometimes what you can do, you can just make your audience curious, give them things to wonder about, or create characters who face human conflicts and have human interests that we can root for. Or you can even have some mystery elements, have your characters solving problems, uncovering mysteries, whatever it may be. And even if you are intent on creating a horror story that is heavily violent and it has tons of gore, you can still find ways to balance that out. One great recent example of this is the movie Terrifier 2. This is about as gory as it gets, but the movie balances out all the violence and gore by incorporating a dark sense of humor. And this not only balances things out, but it also allows that violence and gore to be stronger because there's contrast between the humor and the violence. And the third mistake that horror writers make, they explain away the monster. And this is something that newer writers tend to do. Oftentimes they're insecure that the audience won't understand what the monster is capable of, or what it symbolizes, or what it looks like. And what they'll do right up front, they will tell you what it looks like, what it does, all the different limitations, everything you need to know about the monster before actually we get to meet the creature. And that's a major problem that takes all the fun out of it. And if you are a horror writer, you need to remember that your greatest weapon is the unknown. And the unknown works on every audience member out there. And it's because the possibilities that are in our heads are always going to be scarier than the concrete things we see on the screen or read on the page. So if you're introducing a monster, do it in a way that raises a lot of questions. Show a victim that got torn in half, or maybe their face got melted off, and get the audience as well as the characters in the story wondering, what just did this? What is this thing capable of? How worse can it get? And then as the story's going along, gradually show us what the creature is capable of, gradually have the characters understand what they're up against until the finale where you have your characters facing off against this monster or against this supernatural force or whatever it is. And then, even at the very end, after things have been resolved, you still want to leave some doors open. You still want to leave a little mystery there because that unknown can scare the audience even after the final page is turned. So I hope this helps. And now I'm wondering what you think. What are some of the biggest mistakes that horror writers make? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to support the channel, please pick up a copy of either one of my books. Bad Parts is great if you like small town horror. It's about people trading away their sick and injured body parts in order to get healthy again. And then if you like dark thrillers, check out my book Entry Wounds. It's about a guy who picks up a haunted gun and he can't put it down until he kills 6 people with it. Also, be sure to check out my other videos, hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, share this video with a friend, and as always, remember to keep on writing.